Hello everyone, my name is Abby Miller, and I'd like to start off by saying thank you so much to Audrianna and to the Kirsten Haglund Foundation for inviting me to speak at the Freedom Walk. It is truly an honor, and I am so glad that I have the chance to share a little bit about my personal experiences with body and self-image. Body image is something that has been a part of my life since I was in 4th grade. We all have it, no matter what your age, race, gender, or ability is. I like to say that if you have a body, then you have body image. And for a very long time now, it has been important to me to speak about it in a way that everybody can relate to. However, before I get into that, I feel that I should tell you a little bit about who I am so that you aren't sitting there wondering this whole speech who this random girl talking about body image is. Well, I'm a 17-year-old high school senior at Whitfield School, and I started my own program called Self-ValYOU, promoting positive personal imagery that teaches about the importance of positive body and self-image and how to use techniques called cognitive behavioral therapy to help reframe people's negative self-thoughts into positive self-thoughts for their own mental, emotional, and physical well-being and health. So, how did I get from 4th grade body image issues to here? Well, in 4th and 5th grade, I was significantly overweight for my height and age. I couldn't run the mile in PE. I couldn't even finish the first lap without having to stop and take a break. In every sport that I tried, and believe me when I say I tried all of them, I hated. Meanwhile, all the other girls in my class were like Olympic athletes in my mind. One girl I remember even had a 6-pack. Needless to say, I felt very alone. Unlike these other girls who seemed to fit in so effortlessly, and I hated myself for it. I didn't want to feel or look that way, but I couldn't seem to get out of my own way, and so I just marinated in that really negative place. As I got older, the worst part about it was that this weird phenomenon occurred where these girls were so athletic and they were so fit, but they would call themselves fat all the time. I heard it at sleepovers, in the bathrooms at school, and especially in the locker rooms while getting changed for PE. It made me feel even worse about myself because I knew I was overweight. But it also made me feel so mad because I knew that I did the exact same thing that they did. They would say negative things about themselves because they wanted positive reinforcement from their friends. Every time one of them would call themselves fat or big, there would be a chorus from all the girls around them saying, "No, you're not fat, you're super pretty," which really made me mad because then I thought to myself, well, I must not be pretty because I'm much bigger than they are, which we all know is absolutely ridiculous and not true. And even worse, then they would put themselves down in comparison to one another. They would say things like, "You think you're fat? I'm the one that's fat. Look at my butt. I ate a burrito for lunch today." Regardless of how much I hated hearing them talk like that, I had done the same thing out of my own insecurity and desperation to fit in. And I knew it. It just added to how mad I was at myself. Finally, at a checkup appointment late in my 5th grade year, I had an honest conversation with my doctor about my weight and how I was feeling. She was honest with me, and she told me that I needed to focus on my nutrition and on getting exercise, even if I did not love it, which I did not at all. But she was also concerned about my mental well-being. It just so happened that year I was in the grade where there was a Girls on the Run program starting that spring. And so I joined it. I did not like it at all at first. We ran a lot, but the coaches were so patient with me. Many times I couldn't keep up and I cried my way through the laps, but I kept going. I did love the lesson part of the program though, where we would talk about different things like leadership, self-esteem, and community volunteering. So again, I kept going. I started getting better at the running part, and I could tell that my clothes were starting to feel a little bit looser when I put them on, so that was great. I actually lost around 30 pounds over the course of 2 years. and I started getting into running 5Ks with my dad. Something was still holding me back, though, from really achieving my goals of feeling confident about myself. Inside, I still identified as that awkward, slow, same insecure Abby who did not feel good about herself at all. I finally started to realize that there were two kinds of weight that I had to lose that were completely separate from each other. There was the physical weight and then the emotional weight of this self-hatred. And it was this voice in my head that would tell me I couldn't do it, no matter what it was. I finally realized that in the process of all that keeping going and running, I had still been talking to myself like I couldn't, I wasn't, or that the goal that I had in mind was too far. I started consciously forcing myself to stop being defeatist and negative and to instead find a positive in what I was going on in my world whenever I started having a negative thought about myself. This was not easy. The hardest part was not falling into the trap of putting myself down when I had an insecure or weak moment. There were these times when I just made myself stay quiet, and the best I could do at that time was just not let the words come out of my mouth. It felt like it was a muscle that I had to build, similar to the ones I had to build when I was running. A great thing happened though. The more I worked on liking myself and taking pride in my physical hard work, it showed. And things started to become less awkward for me. I started feeling more confident about my worth. And it was around that time when I started writing down some of the things that I would say to myself to help cheer myself up. And that's how I started Self-ValYOU. That's how the program took shape. Over the years, I've learned that there are real and significant health risks to negative self and body image, including depression, eating disorders, and anxiety. And I've worked to address those. So, if you'd like to learn more about my program, you can visit my website at www.selfvalyu.org. I'm so incredibly proud of it, and I'm proud of the program. I use road signs to represent the steps that you can take to reverse damaging negative self-talk, and I would absolutely love it if you checked it out. Here's the thing though, and I may start to get a little bit weepy. This story may sound like some perfect happy ending of a movie. It may sound like I have perfect self-esteem. I don't though. It's not something that you can fix and that it's just permanently perfect. See, the thing is, your body can be sneaky. It can play tricks on you because your self-image changes along with your body. How we see ourselves when we're going through really awkward times like middle school and high school, and when we're going through super stressful times in our lives, or when we're having medical issues that can come up. It can change. Since middle school, my body has changed and gone through so much. For example, I learned that I have a condition called insulin resistance, and it affected my weight. It caused my self-image to really take a dive. Not only because I wasn't feeling great about how I looked, but because I felt myself lapsing into that overall feeling of defeat and loss of control over my ability to keep my negative thinking and self-criticism in check. Plus, as somebody who wants to go into the performing arts and pursue a career in musical theater, I found that body and self-image can be particularly challenging. See, it's a subjective field, an industry, and it focuses a lot on what you look like, how you move, and your comfort level with your body. And also, rejection is a huge part of the game. I've lost my cool and my composure over my appearance and my identity many times in front of other people. And here I am, as a founder and leader of this positive body image program. Each time I had or said a negative thought, I felt guilty. I felt like a fraud, and I felt unqualified to talk or mentor about positive body and self-image when mine was not near perfect. I found that it can be very hard to remember that it's normal to feel down about myself once in a while. And those negative thoughts that I'm having are usually lies that I'm allowing to sleep into my head. I've had to try even harder not to put extra pressure on myself just for having those days. Am I successful all the time? Absolutely not. Have I had 3 steps forward, 2 steps back? Heck, sometimes 2 steps is nothing. Sometimes it's 2 steps forward, 6 million steps back. And I put myself down. I've struggled with finding the right way to eat. My relationship with food has faltered before. And I've struggled to find a balance of exercise. And most importantly, trying to get my head out of its own self-spiraling, negative self-image void. But here's the thing, it's where my own program comes in. There's a great power in going back to the basics and forgiving yourself and sharing your humanity. And that's now what I focus on when I'm having those slip-ups. I work to live my program every day. And it's okay to not be some permanently fixed guru. I'm proud of it now. It's not easy to be vulnerable about your insecurities. But I found that anyone who says that they don't have any insecurities is lying. We are all on the same boat together, baby. And I am so grateful for my friends and family who have continued to encourage me, and also for the ones who have kicked my butt when I really needed it. And I'm so grateful and proud of all of you walkers and runners today, because you are doing something that takes confidence to do. You are here to run and walk in support of people who have shared their vulnerabilities and challenges that they have had with their self-image, or you've had your own struggles and took each step of the race for yourself. I am one of you, and I am proud to be a work in progress. We are fighters, and just by being here, we are stronger, we are more real, we are more relatable, and we represent success in overcoming our self-doubts. The process is actually a victory. Just showing up, continuing to try each and every day is a victory. And that is exactly what I've learned qualifies me to teach body image and to mentor proud it. My personal journey is full of positives and negatives, and that's okay. I'm going to leave you with a quote by Joel Osteen that has helped me in so many of my not so positive moments. You can change your world by changing your words. I hope you will join me every day to use those words of pride and accomplishment in thinking and talking about yourself, because we all deserve to feel and look at ourselves that way. Thank you so much.